Hi, welcome back to the channel. So today's video is a little different. One, I don't know. Anyways, yeah, so this is my 2019 kind of recap of what the heck went on. Most people say that 2019 was frightful, oh so not delightful. I mean, there were a lot of good things that happened in 2019. I don't want to just sit here and act like I wasn't blessed. I mean, I'm still sitting here alive, so that's blessed in itself. So I don't want to be like that, but there were a lot of tests in 2019, but with tests come testimonies, correct? So anyways, I'm just going to go through basically how I'm ending up on, I was going to call it a water fast, but I think I'm just going to call it a liquid fast because I think I've kind of designed my protocol to be a little different. I just realized I didn't have my ring on. I also don't have lotion on, so there's that. 2019 recap. Bring my phone just so I don't miss anything. So actually, just to go a little bit before 2019, so I would say probably in 2014, 15, there was like, if I turned my neck, I don't know if these are ligaments or are these muscles, I don't know. Anyways, you could feel it like roll over something, like doop doop, doop doop. So there's that. So that's what, 4 or 5 years ago. Also, as far as me being cold all the time, that has probably been since college, and I was tested very frequently for anemia, and I never was anemic until 2019. What else was there? In 2017 is when my skin started breaking out, which has cleared up, thank God. I'm now left with like the scarring, but my face is not broken out anymore. It got worse 2018 into the beginning of 2019, and then as I fixed stuff, it started getting better. Right now I have just one pimple, but I'm on my cycle, so I will take one pimple over waking up every morning to like a new 10. But anyways, so that started then. When did there's other things that predate 2019 that I want to try to make sure I pull in to this. They were just so sporadic and not linked to anything that they were kind of hard to link to anything. The teeth grinding, I think that was in 2017. I started grinding my teeth in my sleep. I actually chipped one of my teeth and I had to go get it like smoothed out because I was grinding my teeth that hard in my sleep. I think that's all that predates. I did have an ulcer back in like 2008, and I also got an ulcer getting certified for my personal trainer certification, but those had rhyme to reason as opposed to what happened in 2019. So we did all of that. We're in 2019 now. So in comes 2019, I started yoga teacher training for my 300 hours so I could be a 500-hour yoga teacher. Yay, completed that. The first or second week of training in January, I fell out of a handstand. I think I was in a handstand. But I basically fell on my shoulder and neck. So it like went this way. This basically like compressed like that. And my neck went that way. When I got up from it, I noticed, you know, kind of like when you wake up in the morning and you slept on your neck wrong, if you don't go ahead and immediately fix it, even though it hurts, your neck will be stuck like that and in pain for like days to come. So when I got up, I popped my neck back. I was like, okay. So it was a little sore on a scale of 1 to 10, maybe like a 2. From there, you would think my shoulder would hurt since that's what impacted, but it was my ribs. So from like here, yeah, right there. And I know that's the point, just because it feels different right here. As far as like, there's no, I have to press this side of my ribs really hard to feel anything, but this side is more sensitive. So from here to this last rib right here, very, very sore. So much so that for a period of time, it really hurt for me to wear a bra on that side. So anyways, that happened. The week following that, I got sick. Now, knowing all the things I know from studying the medical medium protocols and other things, I'm not sure if I actually got sick or if, and this probably sounds crazy to people who have not studied this stuff, or if I knocked loose some dormant things that were in my body, because it's basically the impact that I felt was at the impact of like getting into like a minor fender bender. So it is said that people who have ever had like the flu, sinus infections, or mono, and most people in the world have had all three, they don't actually go away, they go dormant. So we take these medicines to suppress the symptoms, and they go dormant until you come to a point where you're stressed out enough in your life so your immune system is low, they come back, or you knock them loose, like a car accident or falling very hard or whatever the case may be. So I don't know which is the case, because I have not been sick since like I went vegan, which was 2015, I believe. I don't know, but I haven't been sick since. So I fell very hard and then got sick the next week. Anyways, so I had a very, very bad like sinus situation. That's usually the way I get sick. I've never been the one to throw up. I threw up, to my recollection, when I was like 7. When I found out I was allergic to shrimp at my grandpa's house, grandparents' house, one summer, and when I basically got food poisoning a few years back at Ruth Chris, when I told them this is how I eat my food, and they put dairy in it anyway, and it made me violently ill for 5 hours straight. So that's like, I don't really get diarrhea, I don't throw up. All of my sicknesses have always been sinus. So anyways, I got a really bad sinus infection, so bad to the point where I lost my voice. I was coughing so bad, of course, that your rib cage hurts, and I already had a rib injury, so there was that. Then go forward, and the rest of these symptoms aren't really in order. They're just what I dealt with from that point until September, pretty much. So there was severe brain fog, and that is kind of like you basically feel like you're in a haze. Like your thoughts don't fire as quickly, you can't respond as quickly. It's just like you feel like you're slow. I don't know how else to explain it. You go from a point where you're firing on all cylinders to a point where you feel like you have to pause to, I don't know, to get to the next step. My acne, I was dealing with that. I had severe stomach issues. So I ended up going to the doctor. They told me to just start taking Prilosec. So I started taking Prilosec. That wasn't working, so they put me on extra strength Prilosec. That also wasn't working. So I had this whole stomach issue going on. I would wake up in the middle of the night between 2 and 3 and have to go to the bathroom, not go pee, but like go to the bathroom every night. I would also wake up in a knot, so I would be in the fetal position when I woke up because my stomach was hurting that bad. It felt like something was in there just like turning my organs in a knot. So there was that. I could not really eat, so my food list was getting smaller and smaller. I'm already vegan. I had stopped wheat, corn, and soy and wheat gluten because I noticed they affected my skin as far as acne, so I had already pulled those out. But it was like every time I ate, my stomach would just like blow up, or it would be so painful that I would like negotiate, do I even want to do this? So I was basically getting up in the morning, I would have a smoothie to basically get me through my work day, and I would eat dinner at night. And when I would eat at night, my stomach would blow up. I would go through that, try to go to sleep, couldn't really sleep because of either the pain, having to get up to go to the bathroom, or just straight up insomnia, not being able to sleep at all. So there was that issue. The allergies, I've always had allergies since I can remember. So there was the allergy situation. The new thing started with the lightheadedness. Oh, and the allergies had gone away for some time after I went vegan. They had come back basically 2018-ish. The lightheadedness, so there was lightheadedness, dizziness, and vertigo. So the lightheaded I would explain as floaty. So maybe if you had, like, for me, it's 2 sips of a drink. For most people, it's probably 2 or 3 drinks. So if you had whatever your buzz is, that little like, woo feeling, that, but you just walking through life drinking water, you feel like that. Dizzy is at a standstill. I kind of still felt spinny, like this. Or if I went from sitting to standing, I had to like regain composure. Or teaching a class, going from forward fold to say mountain pose, I had to really, it was interesting. There's a lot of things that I had to try to do, like make sure that I'm breathing correctly, speaking, projecting, watching the class, and also don't pass out. So there's that. And then the vertigo, the worst one I can describe is when I woke up one night and the room was literally spinning, like the items in the room. Say like the wall, it's going in a circle, but the things on the wall, so say a picture or a shadow was going up and down. So walls, sideways, spin, items up and down. And I was like, what is happening right now? And I almost thought I was dreaming. I'm like, what is going on? And I couldn't even stand up, because when your world is spinning and the other things are going up and down, where's your equilibrium? So I kept trying to sit up, but when I tried to sit up, I felt like I had to throw up, and Janet doesn't throw up. We don't do those things. So I had to lay back down, and I just kept trying to recalibrate my breath and telling myself, like, okay, Janet, something's going on. There's some, maybe you got too much fluid in your head. I don't know, but we just gotta calm down. It'll go away. It took maybe 20 minutes, but it went away. The next day, I was severely dizzy though. So I'm gonna call those 2 different things. Extreme exhaustion and fatigue. So it came a point where I really just thought I was lazy. I could not figure out, I'm like, Janet, you are a very motivated person. You're very driven. You have a lot of willpower. What is wrong with you? I would wake up, instruct a client, have to take a nap. Do some work on the computer, have to take a nap. Clean up, have to take a nap. I was like going to bed at 8 p.m. Like, it was insane. I had no energy whatsoever. And I thought it was me. I was like, do you no longer like what you do? I couldn't figure it out, but come to find out, it really didn't have anything to do with me personally. It was the bigger picture. I would also wake up and have to pre-bend my legs and arms. So, meaning my joints were so tight and sore when I woke up in the morning that before I stood up, because if I just put my legs over the side of it and went to stand up, I would almost fall from the pain. So I would wake up, like, open eyes. First I'd be like, oh, I went to sleep, that's awesome. And And I would like pre-bend arms and legs, flex my feet, and then get up and almost like, I'm gonna say a 90-year-old, but when I'm 90, I'm not gonna be moving around like this, so I'm not claiming that, but like hobble a few steps before my body got its life. And there also came a point where I would sleep on my stomach and push myself far enough to the end of my bed that I could put my feet like over the edge, like between the mattress and the footboard, to keep my feet bent, so that when I woke up, my feet wouldn't be straight like this, because if they were like this, trying to bend them so I could put my foot on the floor hurt so bad. So very weird stuff. And then there came a point where I could no longer sleep on my stomach because my nasal passages would get so full that the front of my face would kind of be swollen when I woke up. So I slept on my back to try to like pull the fluid backwards. Anyways, cluster headaches, basically like a headache in a spot, like, and it wouldn't last long, maybe 45 seconds. It would just hit like it was shot into my skull, and you'd be like, woof, like that hurts. And then it would go away, and you're like, okay. Panic attacks. Okay. So I've never, I mean, outside of normal just anxiety, like, and when I say normal, I don't mean like where people have to take pills and stuff, just normal, like you get anxious, like, oh, I'm excited, I'm gonna teach a new class, or you're doing something different, or you know you're gonna go on a trip. Like outside of those type anxieties, I've never had anxiety before. I never really understood it. My sister has always dealt with it, and I always like try to help her through it. But I don't think you ever will understand it until you go through it. So yeah. So anxiety and panic attacks. My first panic attack, I was asleep. All the actual attacks came in my sleep. So I was told that basically, I guess that's when my body and mind rested enough for whatever I was trying. My camera likes to cut off after so many minutes. Anyways, so I was told that it came in my sleep because for whatever I was trying to suppress or not deal with, whether it was known or unknown, could rise in my sleep because I wasn't actively, pushing it down. So anyways, the first one, I wake up and my heart is beating so fast and hard that my chest is actually like moving up and down. And I'm like looking at my chest and I'm like, what is happening right now? My breathing was pretty okay. It was just my heart was beating so fast. And for some reason, I knew I wasn't having a heart attack. I don't know how I knew that. Well, God. But I just knew, I'm like, this isn't a heart attack. What is happening right now? So I got out the bed because Janet being Janet, I'm like, I don't want to wake Preston up. He has to go to work in the morning. So I get out the bed and I go in the living room. And I'm sitting in the middle of the living room floor with my legs crossed, talking to myself like, Janet, hey, we're good. What's happening right now, boo? We gotta calm down. Your heart is not supposed to beat this fast. I'm trying to do like my pulse rate and all that kind of stuff. It is high, super high. So I'm like, okay, we gotta calm down. So I start going through my breathing, I'm like, we're gonna yoga instructor this, we're gonna meditation this out. We got this. 3 minutes later, when it's still beating through my chest, then I get scared. I'm like, okay, I don't know how long you can sustain your heart beating this fast, this hard. So then I start freaking out. So I start crying. Still haven't woken up Preston. I start crying and I start, for lack of a better word, negotiating with God. Like, I'm not ready yet. I still got stuff to do. I still got people to help. I still got a story to share. Like, now is not the time. I don't know what's happening, but I'm getting very scared. Like, I need you to bring me back down. So after I did this 30-second prayer / negotiation with God, everything started to settle back down. But at this point, I'm physically scared. So my heart stopped beating quickly, but I'm trembling because I literally was like, is this the end? So I go get back in the bed, and when I get back in the bed, that's when Preston wakes up and he's like, you good? And I was like, I don't know, I think I just had a panic attack. And he's like, you had a panic attack? Why didn't you wake me up? And I'm like, you gotta go to work. And he's like, are you crazy? Like, you have a panic attack and you worry about somebody going to work? So we had this whole back and forth. So he gave me his Apple Watch and to take my whatever, what is it, pulse? It was like 160. Like, it was beating fast still. So he's like, you gotta calm down, you know, do you need to go to the hospital? I'm like, no. I just really feel like for most cases, going to the doctor is just gonna suppress whatever's going on, or by the time you get seen, it's already remedied. I mean, short of you got a bullet, you know what I'm saying, or your arm bone is sticking out. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's some things I'm just like, what are they gonna do? I'm not gonna take an antidepressant, so what are they gonna do? So he was like, fine. So from that point, the next few nights, I would have a very small version of that, and Preston would give me an Apple Watch, and we would try to bring everything down, and after a while, it's the middle of the night panic attacks stop. But after that, I would have like heart palpitations. So if I would do something, say be teaching the class and get too hyped, like I'm in it, my heart would start, or if I would get anxious. So this is when I started to actually notice my thoughts. If I would start to think about something either that I was worried about or I wanted to do, or I don't know how this is going to work out, or whatever, I would start to get palpitations, which are different for me than flutters, because the palpitations to me are very like rapid, and flutters are like light, like a 2 second, and I've had both of those. So that's the whole heart blah 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 thing. I already talked about insomnia. I don't think I was depressed, even though the doctors tried to tell me I was depressed. They tried to give me various antidepressants, none of which I took. Talked about the stomach cramps at night. This is, I don't know if this is a symptom or not, but I wrote it down. As far as I have like cysts like that I've had on my body for years. When I say years, I mean like 10 years. So there's one in my back. It was, let's say this big, but take this part off in my back. So it's from like here, and it reached up to like where my shoulder blade is right here. So when I would do like a bunch of push-ups or something, it would get sore because it was right on my shoulder blade. It would like rub over it. Now, since I've been, these still have sand on them. Since I've been cleansing and detoxing, it is about maybe this size, but a little taller. So it has dissolved. I also have little nodules on my shins. I would say I had about 6. There are only 2 left. They also dissolved. Talked about the acne. Memory. Oh my goodness. I would be speaking to someone, and especially if I was tired, it's almost like I would have to amp myself to get through like the first half of my day. And after I used all that energy, the end of the day, when I got home, I was done. So a lot of this stuff I fronted through, but Preston caught all of it, because by the time I get to like, not now, but to like 3, 4, 5 o'clock, I was done. But anyways, I could be speaking to someone and totally lose my thought. Kind of like when you walk to the kitchen and you're like, what did I come in here for? And you go sit down. It's that, but in speech. So say like right now I'm talking to you about all these symptoms that I have been going through, and I just lose it. But not just lose it to the fact that I can like look at my phone and be like, oh yeah, this is what I was talking to you about. Lose it to the fact that I'll be like, what am I doing right here? And just turn the camera off and go do something else. Like, it would be gone. Crazy. Gone. So we started playing memory games and stuff like that, because I felt like I was gonna end up with like dementia or something. I could not understand why I couldn't remember stuff. It was just really wild to go from feeling like you were your optimal to within a few months just not even recognizing yourself. Wild. It was wild. Anyways, we talked about the anemia, eye floaters, just literally like stuff, and I'm like, okay, what's that? Ringing in the ears, self-explanatory, dry hands. I still have that. It's a form of eczema. It's getting way better though. It used to have like whole like things I could pull off. If I'm picky, I can still try to do that, but they were prominent before. Stunted hair growth. Oh my gosh. Last year I kept telling everybody my hair is not growing. Everybody was like, your hair is fine. I'm like, if you're used to your hair or anything growing a certain amount, you can tell. Like, you have to cut your nails how many, so often, weeks or days or whatever. Your hair usually grows this much in a month. It was not growing. Besides the fact that it was not growing, the ends were like popping off. And I was like, what in the world? So my hair did start back growing about like October last year. I feel like my hair grew more like September, October to present than it did all of 2019. Tingling in my toes. I was even telling my chiropractor, because I thought at first it was a nerve thing. But I would get these tingling in the ball of my foot, my big toe, and my second toe. And it was either like a tingle or a burn. And I would like try to like hit my foot on the floor. I'm like, what is that? Is it bad circulation? What is happening? I don't know. Weight gain. So the weight gain thing was weird because I'm pretty small, and I don't know how noticeable it was to people who don't look at me critically, meaning like myself and my husband, who see me fully. But it was just and it wasn't even really, to me, like, it didn't feel like weight. It was like I just felt juicy, like there was a layer of water or something on me. And I feel like, so at my smallest I was like between 125 and 128. That was right after I lost all the weight in 2012. I think that was the weight I was. And then I went up to about 135, 140, and I felt like that was a really good size. And then I kept tracking towards 155 to 160, 155 to 160, and I couldn't, I even put myself on like a regimen of like lifting weights, yoga, running. Nothing would budge it, and it's not like I eat crap, so I couldn't figure it out. So yeah, there was that. And as far as my weight, because it has come down significantly since I started cleansing, but I don't look the same at these weights that I did when I lost weight, and I think that is because I've built a lot of muscle between then and now. And back then, although I was lifting some weights, I was doing so much cardio. So much cardio. So I was just very lean. There was not very much muscle to go with it. So I looked way, way smaller at the same weight back then than I do now. Yeah, I just have more muscle, and I do dang near no cardio now, which I don't think is totally good. I do want to do cardio, but right now my mind just isn't in it. So yeah, but I will get back. So yeah, there was the whole weight gain thing, cold hands and feet. I mean, people who know me just know, hey, that's how it is. Even when I teach classes, like the first 30 minutes, my hands are frozen when I go assist people. Slurred speech. This one was killing me too, because, not use that term, don't speak things into existence. This one was weird to me too. So Preston and I read devotionals at night before we go to sleep. So we basically read our little devotionals, we write down our gratitudes, we do a little guided meditation, drift off to sleep situation. So we switch off every other night. A person will read, and on Sunday, whoever's night it is to read, there's a prayer over us. So anyways, I would be trying to read the devotional. It was like the words I heard in my head and I saw on the paper aren't the words that came out of my mouth. I can't even explain it. It's just like, okay, say I'm trying to read this. So it says nocturnal teeth grinding, memory, lost eye floaters. I would say, and I'd be like, and I'd be like, nocturnal teeth. Like, it was crazy. Anyways, so there was that. And then the last two things I have written down was light sensitivity. There came a point where I could not go outside without shades on. It would burn my eyes. Like I was trying to look at the eclipse, burn my eyes. So I had to wear sunglasses and shades all the time. Even if it was almost like dusk, I would still have to. At this point, I don't wear sunglasses at all because I now know that we need the vitamin D to enter our bodies, so I don't wear them. But my eyes also don't hurt. I couldn't do that before. And then dark circles under my eyes, they have gotten way better, but I would wake up and it would look like I got punched. And it would basically stay that way for about 30 to 40 minutes until the fluid would drain like down, like my face would just be full of fluid. So those are all of my symptoms that I was dealing with in 2019 on top of the throat thing that I mentioned in the beginning. So I mentioned that in the beginning to come to after I went to the doctor numerous times and they were telling me I was stressed. They gave me an EKG for my heart because I started having panic attacks. It was perfect. They took my blood, found out that I was anemic. Some of the symptoms for anemia are listed here, but it didn't quite cover everything. So I started taking iron. I did that for, I can't remember how long, then I went back. I had the iron in my blood, but my body was not accepting it. So the cells wasn't accepting it, it was just like floating through my body. They then started testing my thyroid. All my thyroid numbers were pretty good. But when they mentioned that is when I mentioned, hey, well, I got this knot on my thyroid. So they did the test, and you used to be able to see it when I did this, but it has shrunk, so you can't really see it anymore. But everyone always told me they couldn't see it, and I'm like, it's like right there, and they're like, I can't see it. I'm like, it's right there, and they're like, I can't see it. But anyways, so they kept telling me they couldn't see it. So anyways, I had a doctor, my nurse practitioner, she said, well, we'll just ultrasound your throat. I was like, cool. So they ultrasound my throat, they found 2 nodules, and they were like, okay, well, we will biopsy them and see what's going on. So they did the biopsy. The biopsy came back suspicious for malignancy for papillary carcinoma stage 4. So suspicious for XYZ type of cancerous cell. So, of course, they're like, you need to go see an oncologist, you need to do this, you need to do that, putting like the fear of God in you. And I'm just like, yeah, but no. And everybody was like, what are you talking about? I said, so the only way I could put it to them is if I want yoga lessons, I'm not going to ask a basketball coach to do that for me because that's not their wheelhouse, right? So I said, we know the path of the oncologist, and we can't expect the oncologist to do non-oncology things. So we know, and this is me talking to my nurse practitioner and medical staff, we know that they will either cut it out, and it's the thyroid, so they either cut the whole or the half, either way. You have to take hormones for the rest of your life, which are pig hormones, which I really don't want to take, or you get chemo, which is straight up poison, and I can't handle that, or you get the radioactive iodine pills, which are also poison, and I'm also allergic to iodine. So I'm like, none of those really work for me. None of those are paths I want to take. So we're gonna look at other things, and they're like, you really should do X, Y, Z, and we really think, really trying to pressure me. And I said, but none of those feel right to me. They don't feel right. They feel very rushed. When I think about them, they don't make me feel settled, and not in the fact that, oh, this is scary, it could be X, Y, Z. They don't make me feel settled in a way that I feel on board with that. So I talked to some other nurses, because I have 4 friends that are nurses. So I talked to some other nurses. I consulted, and a lot of people. This is when social media, I feel like, is used correctly. I found so many people who have had problems with their thyroids, whether it was nodules, cancer, tumors, Hashimoto's, however you say it, hyperthyroidism, hypothyroidism, all kinds of everything. People who have treated it traditionally, people who have done a little of both, traditionally and holistically, people who straight up did holistic, like everything. I would say dang near 50 people. I did that research. I, of course, started scouring the internet. I started reading a lot of books. I talked to lots of people who have had full-blown, like, other cancers, either blood cancers, leukemia, people who have had lupus, people who have had MS, people, and I know MS isn't a cancer, but I'm just throwing that in there. Fibromyalgia, again, I don't believe that's cancer, but throwing that in there. Breast cancer, what else? I said leukemia, lymphoma, I think that's the other one. Who all decided, okay, hey, we got this going on, but there's other ways. You know what I mean? Like, there's other ways. And that felt better for me. One thing that at the beginning did not sit right with me is if you biopsy something. So I cut this off. This is fake, but pretend it's real. I cut this tip off, and I put it under my microscope, and I want to find out what type of plant this is. And I'm like, it's suspicious for wheatgrass. What do you mean? Like, your point of snipping this and putting it under the microscope to break it down to see what the molecules and the cells and all that is was for you to emphatically find out, is this wheatgrass, is this sweetgrass, is this regular grass, is this Kentucky blue, like, what is this? So that was the first thing for me, and I have all my little conspiracy theories with medical stuff, but anyways, so I'm like, you did all this work, you took all these skin samples and all this, had my neck sore for a weekend plus time for suspicious for. It is or it ain't. So now you tell me it's suspicious for, and the only way we can really find out is to take it out. Once you take it out, you can't put it back in. So you take it out, and then you say, oh, well, we're sorry, it was actually benign, or it was actually this, or blah, blah, blah. So I was like, I also don't feel comfortable with that, because that's what the point of the biopsy is, you know what I'm saying? And like one of the ladies I was speaking to who had breast cancer, and she spent a year plus time, but she cured it naturally. It was hard work, but she did it. She said that, and she's a Caucasian lady, so it was even funnier that she said this. She said, they also say young black men who walk down the street in hoodies are suspicious, but they ain't bothering nobody. And I said, you say that, thank you. So she said, suspicious cells mean what? Who cares? So I was like, true. So anyways, I said, whether it is what they have on this paper or something less or somewhere in between, either way, it is affecting me. You know what I'm saying? So it doesn't have to be this papillary carcinoma. It could just be a thyroid nodule. Either way, it has my life out of balance, so it has to be fixed. So I went through a whole lot of protocols and making my own protocols to start to heal my body. So I went through all of that, and at the point I am at now, the only symptoms I deal with currently still now are anxiety. I still have eye floaters every now and then, let's say 2 a month, and ear ringing maybe 2 a month. I didn't think I mentioned night sweats. I don't wake up in a pool of sweat anymore. I sleep fine. In the beginning, when I was sleeping through the night, it scared me. When I woke up, I would be afraid because there were so many months where I wasn't sleeping that going to sleep and waking up was foreign to me. I was like, is this heaven? Like, where am I? Like, it would freak me out. Oh, I also would stop breathing in my sleep. I forgot to mention that. I would wake up and be like, like grabbing Preston. And he's like, you good? And I'm like, I start breathing again. Like my nose would get so clogged up, not like you can blow your nose, but like deep inside my nose. So if your nose clogs up on both sides at once and your mouth is closed, where the air coming from? Anyways, so all the symptoms are gone. So let's say I had 30 symptoms. We can say they are all gone. I haven't taken Prilosec, the regular strength or the extra strength, since September. I have not taken the Zyrtec or the nasal spray since September. I just been doing my protocols. If you follow me on Instagram, you see that I do the lemon water, I do celery juice. I have continued to change my diet, which was very frustrating for someone who was already vegan and already didn't eat soy, already didn't eat corn, already didn't eat wheat or wheat gluten. I also took out the sugar. I also took out canola oil, which is in a lot of things that I hadn't paid attention to. What else I think that I had to take out? Most other oils, just because I found out that a lot of oils go quote unquote rancid once you cook them. Certain fruits and vegetables that don't, what word am I looking for? Basically, I'm trying to put everything in a place where if it isn't proven or good for or helpful in the path of lessening malignant cells or things of that nature, then I'm trying to just keep it out of my diet for the most part. So anyways, that brings me to this liquid fast. So I have gotten my blood work redone. I got that done in November around my birthday. I no longer am anemic. That is gone, although I am still cold, but I was cold before I was anemic, so we're just gonna say me being cold has nothing to do with my anemia or the lack thereof. So I no longer am anemic. The iron is actually being accepted into my cells and going where it's supposed to go. My thyroid numbers were even better than they were before. My vitamin D was low, so I started taking some vegan, all-natural vitamin D. And then my white blood cells were, I can't remember if she said they were high or low, whichever is the one that shows your body is trying to fight infection. So she said she wasn't worried about that. She said when we do the next one, as long as they're in the same place or in a better place, then we won't worry about it. We'll just keep at a wait and see, watch and see type situation. I also got an updated ultrasound on my thyroid. So in my world, the nodules have shrunk. This is why I say this. One, I used to be able to swallow and feel it on the inside of my throat. I also could take a pill and it would sit on the ledge that was the nodule. Like I said, I also could do this and see it in my neck. All these things no longer exist. Besides the fact that the other cysts I have on my body have also shrunk. The one in my back that I mentioned shrunk. I had 6 cysts, like, and when I say cysts, I mean the ones on my shins, like this big. They're not like big things. Had 6 of these. There's only 2 left. So you can't tell me that everything else in my body is responding except for this one thing. Besides the fact that, like I said, I no longer can feel it when I swallow. Food and pills no longer sit on top of it, and I can't see it in my neck. I said all that to say, they did the ultrasound. They said the 2 on this side grew by 0.1 centimeter. If you don't know what 0.1 centimeter looks like, I want you to like pull out a measuring tape or a ruler and like look at 0.1 centimeter. I don't believe that. I'm sorry, I just don't. For the reasons I just named, on top of the fact that in my mind, that can be human error. If I measure this piece of paper from the outer edge as opposed to the inner edge, that could be 0.1 of a centimeter. Like, let's get it together. And then they said there's one on the left. So this is my thing about the left side. I told them that no one measured the left side of my neck when I went to my first ultrasound. I didn't even get a biopsy on the left side of my neck when I got the biopsy. The left side of my neck has never been a thing, ever. They say that the nodule on the left side also grew. I said, okay, well, if it grew, by how much? How big was it the first time that it was measured? Oh, there is no data for the first measurement. It just says that there was something there and that it grew to 1.7 centimeters at this new time. I said, so how can we say it grew if there's no first measurement? Again, whatever. So, I say all that to say that I feel 1,000% better. I feel so much better. I'm so thankful. Like, every day I have a conversation with God that I know, one, that all this happened to me, so one, I could learn all this stuff and share it with other people. Since I've been going through my healing journey, I've had so many people call, text, and DM me like questions like, hey, I see you're doing such and such, or I know can you tell me XYZ? Not that I'm a doctor or a nutritionist. I'll just say, hey, per my books, this is what it says, and you can do your further research to see if this is something you want to do. And that's family, that's co-workers, that's clients, that's students, and family members. Like, so I know that this all happened for a reason, although in the beginning it was very, very frustrating. I felt like I am a healthcare professional. I am a health and wellness professional, so I should be healthy. So I did go through a lot of turmoil within myself that I was quote unquote unhealthy, trying to promote health, if that makes any sense. But I feel so much better. I'm very happy. There were many times I had discussions with Preston about like I don't even want to say it out loud. Like, what if I don't make it? Like, that's crazy. Like, I really felt like I'm gonna cry. Anyways, so there was some rough patches in there, and I even told my sister when I went to her graduation in December, there was a point in October that I was so fearful that I was not gonna make it to her graduation. Ooh, and I couldn't imagine how that would mess up her day, and I was so scared. But anyway, we're doing better now. So anyways, sorry. Yeah, so I went through a lot in 2019, to say the least, besides being sick and going through yoga teacher training for 6 months and going through buying our second home and having to move. Then we also had like a family issue that took, 3-4 months to get through. That was probably one of the other hardest things I've ever dealt with in my life. It was a lot. But what brought me to this fast is, although I am feeling better and I know things are progressing in the right direction, I feel like some things have plateaued and I just need to get over the hump. I feel like God has put a lot of things in our world, in our environment to help us, as far as food, herbs, seeds, plants, things of this nature, different healing modalities that aren't traditional. And so as far as Reiki, doing things with like, I don't even know what to call it, but like light energy to make sure you like move your lymph. It's not really light, it's like electromagnetic. I don't know. Chiropractic even, but there's so many different modalities that are opposite of let's just take a pill and suppress this, or like let's do this and while we kill this one thing we also kill the rest of you. And not to say that there isn't a place for those things, because clearly there is, but not everything works for every person. And I think that we should take the time to figure out that what do we want to do with our own bodies. Like, does this fit with me, or am I just doing this because they either feared you into it? Like, I feel like that happens most of the time. They make you move so fast and they get you so scared that you don't have time to think about, like, do I even want to do this? You know what I mean? So going through all of that and knowing that I'm doing better, but also knowing that within my body I can still feel things that need to shift. So I want to do this liquid fast because I know there's the whole concept of heal thyself. You know what I mean? Like if we give our bodies the right environment, I feel like it can be done. And I know biblically and spiritually and in different practices, fasting is a way to reset the body. Just give your body time to not have to break down food and figure out where does this go and where to send this, and does this need to be digested, does this need to be sent, you know, to the lower intestine, like all these things. Just give it time to rest and just work on, oh, we don't have to do all these things, we can just work on healing this. So that's why I want to do this. In the same vein, why I think I changed it to a liquid fast from a water fast is that while I've gone through this healing journey, I have had at least 3 healing crises. And I know some doctors say that if you are healing your body the correct way, you won't have a healing crisis. And a healing crisis is basically when your body detoxes, you feel sick in some way. So I have found from me working with other people in the past 4 or 5 months, and with myself, your healing crisis usually is in line with how you usually get sick. So like I said, I don't usually get diarrhea or throw up. All of my stuff is always cold chest sinus. So that's what my healing crises have all been. Severe, like so bad that drainage of my, just straight drainage, that at one point I wondered if it was brain fluid, like I was freaking out. But anyways, like I had to stick stuff up my nose, and it's not running like a drip and you're just like, you know what, I'm tired of blowing my nose, I'm just gonna put a tissue in there. Literally running. This never happened to me, maybe it's happened to other people, just running out of my nose. But I know the stuff in my body has to come out, and most of my stuff is mucus related. Like I said, always chest, cold, sinus, so it has to come out. So I have had 3 of those, one of which felt very flu-like-ish. It wasn't the flu, but just in the realm of telling you how it felt. One was very just head, sinus, and then one was almost like strep throat, strep throat, and like throat oriented. So anyways, I don't want to do the water fast because I feel like I might detox too fast. You know what I'm saying? If there's no buffer of any other things digested in my body, I might come down too quickly, and I don't want to do that. So I want to buffer it. So I'm going to do another fast, which I think I will do just water. So at first I was going to do 3 days of just water. And then I thought, okay, I'll do 3 days just water, then 3 days liquids, which it'll be water and water and vegetable juices, and then I'll do a day 7 of water, vegetable juices, and smoothies. And it's kind of just been changing. So I have now settled on, I'm going to do, I think, and I'm going to document this thing, so if it changes, I'm saying now it might change. I think I'm going to do day 1 through 3. I'm going to start with my lemon or lime water, which I was supposed to be drinking this the whole time. Not sure what happened. I'm going to do my lemon and lime water in the morning, followed by my celery juice, and then just water for the rest of the day, for the first 3 days is the plan. Then day 4 through 6, lemon water, celery juice, green juice, carrot juice, beet juice, water. Those are the only things all day for the second set of 3 days. Then day 7, lemon water, celery juice, vegetable juices, tea, and did I just add tea? I think I just added tea. And then on day 8 would be my transition out, but I would just add smoothies and salad. And then the day 9 is where I could add back in food. That's what I think I'm gonna do. On top of that, I'm going to try to do some form of yoga every day. I started doing Qigong. And when I say I started, I haven't done it since I posted my last video. But in my mind, I've been doing Qigong. Rebounding, which is the bouncing on the trampoline. It helps move your lymph throughout your system, helps your liver detox. So I do a lot of things to try to help my body through the processes. And then also going out in nature daily. I want to try to do all those things every day. And I'm also going to continue to eat my apricot seeds. If you have not read about apricot seeds, they are supposed to help with targeting cells that may be malignant in your body. If you don't have any, it just helps you health-wise. They have many, many healthy benefits. So I'm going to still continue to take those every day. I think I might also take my cilantro pills still every day. Cilantro is good to help detox heavy metal. We all have heavy metals in our body because we live in this toxic world. Half the things we spray, like bathroom spray, Glade, that type of stuff, these air fresheners, candles we burn, the things we breathe outside from the cars, these vaccinations we get, all of that stuff has metals in it. We also eat things out of tin cans and cook in pots that have non-stick that slowly chips off. Anyways, all these things, we have heavy metals. We need to get them out because the heavy metals settle and cause illness. So I think I want to also continue to take the cilantro pills, and then probably also continue to take my liver rescue pills, which are basically just a combination of roots. I think it's like dandelion root, burdock root, and another root, and I want to say milk thistle maybe, but basically it's just some herbs, and the herbs just help your liver stay healthy while it's trying to push out things in your body, because you don't want your liver and is it kidneys? Adrenals, might be adrenals, to get tired trying to help heal your body, and they basically conk out. So I'm trying to do everything to help all the different organs do their jobs, because I feel like there comes a point where I have to take responsibility for the place that I have gotten to. So not saying it's my fault that I got quote unquote sick, but I mean, at some point you either gonna whine about it or you're gonna try to fix it. So I'm trying to fix it. I also feel like in different ways that we get sick in our body also have to do with things that we have unresolved in our lives. For most people, it's from childhood. So either emotions, memories, situations that you either have suppressed or not thought, not handled, come up in your body. And if you look into Louise Hay, or is it Hayes? She has a listing of where we hold illness in our body and what it means. And I just want to read the so things as far as cancerous cells deep hurt, long-standing resentment, deep secrets of grief, eating away at the self. I mean, anxiety, not trusting the flow and process of life. Allergies, not accepting your own power. Acne, not accepting thyself, dislike of yourself. And I've gone through a long, like self-love journey. Nodules or lumps in the throat, resentment and frustration, and ego over career. Parasites. Oh, I forgot to mention I had parasites. Oh my goodness. I had parasites. So in September, I also, when I was going through my research, I came across all these symptoms that linked up with parasites, especially the waking up balled up in a knot situation. Also, not being able to eat food that you always were able to eat. Having a severe sugar cravings. Just all these things, the eye floaters. Feeling like you had like stuff like go across your skin, just weird stuff. And I was like, I might have freaking parasites. So then I started looking into how does one get a parasite. Well, apparently we all get parasites because we walk around, you know, at the beach with no shoes on. We accidentally swallow water at the pool. We might not wash our fruits and vegetables completely. When you go to a restaurant, someone fixes your food, maybe they didn't wash their hands completely. We all have parasites. The thing is, our body should be in such a state that in most cases, they cycle out, they die. Or if we lived in other cultures, we would seasonally do a parasite cleanse. And people in the East still do this. So if you get a parasite, it would never stay in you long enough to cause trouble because you would, on cycle, do a cleanse. So anyways, at the beginning, I was like, well, let me do this parasite cleanse because I really, really feel like I can't even handle anything else until I can eat and drink. So I did, I want to say it's called Life Force Health, something. I'll put it in the description. I did their Scram pills, which has like green walnut, and all the other things that the Eastern people use to get rid of parasites. It's basically herbs in a pill. And let me see, I wrote everything down. I have everything written down. Let's see, that's also when I started the papaya seeds. If you saw that video of my husband and I eating the papaya seeds that tasted god-awful, I also started papaya seeds around the same time. So, is it on this page? Yes. So, here. I started the pills on September 1st, and you're supposed to do like one pill, and then the next day I think do 3, and then do 6, and then do 10. But I know my body and how like sensitive it is, which is why I don't want to do just a straight water fast the first time. So I did 2 days with 1 pill each, 2 days with 2 pills each, 2 days with 3 pills each. Then I did 4 pills, 6 pills, 8 pills, and then I did 10 pills for like a week, and then I stopped. So anyways, on day 4 is when there was confirmation that I actually freaking had parasites. And I was like, this is insane. Like, for real. Mind-blowing. It's literally mind-blowing. But when I passed the largest worm, I don't know if it was 1 large worm or 2, like 1 large worm broken in half or 2 worms, but whenever Big Daddy left is when my brain fog went away. Like, as soon as it happened, I felt free. Like, literally cue like the scene from Cinderella where her in the forest with all the little birds chirping and the chipmunk in the corner with the nut. Like, miraculous. That's when the brain fog left. So I've been through many layers of this process to get to where I am now. So many things in 2019. So that's why I have structured this the way I have structured it. I think I will do probably next month or 2 weeks from now, depending on how this goes and how long I need to recover my body, because you don't want to do too much too soon. I will do just water. I might do it for 7 days, or I might just do 3 and see how I feel, and then take a break and then add on to make it up to 7 days. So that is where I'm at. So today I will do lemon water. Today's lime, but a lemon or lime water, celery juice, and just water all day. And I will do that for the first 3 days. And then I will evaluate what I will do going forward. I will do a little recap every day, and I'll put that on a separate video because I think this video is god awful long already. Why would we say god awful anyways? That's like backwards. Anyways, yeah, and I think that's it. So that is what was happening to me in 2019. Those are all the symptoms that I could remember to type into my phone, that I was dealing with, that were all sporadic, but kind of, in hindsight, all either pour into being anemic, having parasites, and having a problem with your thyroid, maybe hormone level type stuff. And me going through my healing journey. I think I'll do a video at some point at all the different little protocols I've done, and then how I've taken different protocols from different things from protocols and made them like into what I do now outside of this water fast, of course. Yeah, and here we are. So thank you for watching. I might break this up into a few videos, or I might make it one long video, and whoever wants to sit through it can just sit through it. But thank you for watching, listening to me share my story. I would say I apologize for the tears, and I think I did when I did it, but I take that back. I don't apologize, because we should feel our feelings, right? So it happened. That's where I was in that moment, and that is definitely how I felt, plus some, back when it was happening. It's just a lot to go through and a lot to process. So yeah, if you have questions, please hit me up. Let me know if you've gone through anything with healing your body in any way. Even if you took the traditional route, you still got to go through it. So this isn't to bash someone who took a traditional route, because you got to do what you got to do for you. You still got to go through the process. You don't just like take whatever and get better, whether you do it the holistic way or the traditional way. So anyone that has gone through a journey to heal their body, their mind, their soul, I would love to hear about it. You can leave it in the comments. You can send me a DM, whatever the case may be. But I appreciate everyone for watching, listening, sharing thoughts. Yeah, 'tis all. Thanks. Peace out.